Hello and welcome back to Pokemon Silver. In the last video, I kind of did a surprise grinding session. I wasn't really planning to do it, but I wanted to do it and I didn't want to not record it. And I wanted to show what, important things happened. Anyways, in this video, I plan to take off where I last left off, and that's going through Union Cave. Thank goodness. I thought this was going to be a flash required dungeon because I know there are those dungeons, but thankfully it's not this one. And I was not quick enough to avoid this guy. Whoa, Nelly, this is a surprise. I wasn't expecting to see anybody here. Tell me, Daniel, were you expecting to see a Onyx? Oh. How disappointing. Alright. Your Onyx is going to use Tackle Attack. My Onyx is going to use Mud Slap Attack. It's a battle of nutrition. The only difference is mine's going to hit more often. Alright. That's alright because this Onyx is already halfway down on his health. Last time I had this battle, it did not go nearly as good, and I need to stop comparing between the past and today, but I do remember some things from older games. Many of which I will tell you about when I get to them. And Bind is finally missing, and I hear dogs barking everywhere. So, you may be thinking, well, to save on your last 6 PP on this move, you might want to use Tackle or Bind Attack. Actually, Bind might actually be a really good move. Let's see, because it's not normally. Unfortunately, Onyx is a Rock type. And Rock types, yeah, that was a critical. They do not hit for anything. I honestly thought his Onyx was about to get released, but nope, I win. And I got a boosted experience of 379. Yes, if you've come across Onyx, it is well worth your time to battle it. Even if it's not well worth your time for me to battle it, because it actually... And I almost left the item. A potion. Well, a potion and good experience is better than no potion and no experience. And yes, first cave of the dungeon of the game, and you'll encounter Zubat. Not worth talking about. I think you could have... There's a cave over back in... No, I don't think you could go into that cave. Never mind. No, never mind. It was back on Route 31. There's a place called Dark Cave in there. And along with finding Zubat, you can find a super rare Pokemon called Dunsparce, which is... Oh! As you can see there, I'm glad I got to show that. Once you get to level 11, I guess you have to get more badges than 1. But as you can see, Rocky does not obey. And he did it twice in a row. Thank you, Rocky, because Rocky is loafing around. As I was saying... Okay, with the Screech, I might want to use Tackle now. As I was saying earlier, you can find the rare Pokemon Dunsparce, which is like Rattata except with worse stats. It has a high move pool, but a very low stats to back him up. Used instead Tackle. Yep, there you go. Tackle was enough. I just had to muscle through it. Oh no. Well, I did say I wanted to use charcoal more. And as you can see, again comparing, I know I said I was going to stop in the last video, but in the last time I done this recording, when I was splitting between training all them Pokemon, I never had Onyx reach a level to disobey me. He was not even level 11 yet before I finally challenged the second gym leader. which I thought, well, it doesn't really matter what I thought because all that matters is what it is. And what it is Onyx does not obey. One more Geodude. Geodude, in about another 5 levels, gains a, I believe, Rock Throw. And when it gains Rock Throw, it becomes a super valuable member of the team. Because it has a much higher attack stat than most because of that part rock and part ground type, both being physical. And with that done, I run into a random battle. Alright, so now that I got Rocky out of the lead and got Charco in the lead, let's move on. A whole 3 steps, which I'm surprised I did not run into a random encounter before that. And we got jugglers, who always looked like clowns to me. They always reminded me of Bear Hugger when in Punch-Out! When you fight him the second time and he's like the something clown. Coughing! A great Pokemon in the next game. Because it has one weakness, ground, and, well, and the next game it gains the ability Levitate, so ground doesn't even affect it. Oh, it does. It's also weak to Psychic and will more than likely go down to 1 hit of it. However, as you can see here, special defense is nothing to commend. So, 1 hit from Ember usually takes it down. If I was to hit it with Tackle Attack, it probably wouldn't have made it that far. Alright. The thing is, I don't want Rocky falling really behind in the levels either. And it's going to be kind of hard to juggle that. I really hope that this isn't going to be a problem after the next gym. Alright, if you come down here, you'll run into another battle. And I forgot that just because I'm not showing you the battles doesn't mean that I'm not fighting those battles. However, I don't want to expend all of my Pokemon on just random trainer battles. And no, there is no repels to buy as of this point, so have to wait till the next town. Alright. If you go over here, you can go find yourself an X-Attack. Honestly, just kind of waste the space inside your bag. And you can find wild Geodudes here. You can also find them way back in, well, way back when, where you can find Jigglypuff and all. I completely forgot the route name. However, I wasn't planning to use Geodude on my team. It's just a really good Pokemon. And a lot of people would probably argue with that because, well, Geodude is a little bit on the slow side. And I've been waiting for a time to talk about this. I was going to talk about it at a different time, but I'll talk about it a little bit right here. Ground and Rock together are a terrible move combination. I could go around this guy, cool. It's a terrible combination because they share a lot of the same weaknesses, and they're both referred to as generally, well, at least Rock is generally referred to as a slow type, and they're both pretty good physical attackers, but when you add them all together, what you will end up getting is a Pokemon that's very slow, will very rarely ever go first in battle, and is quad weak to several types of the game, including one of the most common types. All in all, it's not worth your time to raise. It's generally going to be not only difficult to raise them, And that was another thing about Rock and Ground type, is they're also both really slow growing Pokemons as well. So you're not only having a Pokemon that's slow to raise, but quad weak to very common types in the game, and very slow, so it won't be moving first. This here's a second room. You can go over and grab this. I'll look at that in a minute. I'm not a big fan of the rock type myself because it just doesn't provide anything. Like I said before, it shares a lot of traits with ground type, and overall, usually the two of those types are combined, and when they are, well, it usually drags down the ground type with its slow speed and quad weaknesses. Doesn't really give it any advantages though. I can think of ground types being useful in, say, a situation where, I mean, rock types are useful in a situation where you come across a flying type. Grounds aren't effective against flying at all, but rock type is super effective. So in that instance, it's pretty effective. However, flying type's not the greatest type in the world. It's weak to a lot of different Pokemon, and including ice types and rock types. Flying types are weak to both ice and electric, both of which are very common types. Both types of which you would be very hard pressed for not having on your team. Both flying type is both weak to ice and electric, both of which are very common, well, can be learned by very common types in the game, and you would be hard pressed not to have an ice type move or a electric type move on your team by the end of the adventure. Plus, flying type is also not a very common thing among gym leaders. As I said before, Faulkner is the first flying type important battle of any across the first and second generation, and he will also be the last until the next generation. So rock types dragging down ground types for the cost of being super effective for flying Pokemon is just not worth it. That's what I'm trying to say. Holy moly, I've been trying to say that being interrupted every 5 seconds or steps. And hoo-hooey, let's see if you can take on a Vulpix. Oh, my money's on the Vulpix. Actually, that wasn't too bad. That was only 4 damage. I could take that. That was a critical hit. I was kind of hoping that would just be hoo-hooey. Alright. And that was it. Ray, you're done. Flash! Sorry, you can't use that move. That was Union Cave in its entirety. At least for now. It's a poison cure berry. In this patch of grass, I don't think you can find anything special. I don't know why I talked to this guy. It was probably not the best move in the world. Alright. Anthony. Actually, no, there's just an important reason why you want to talk to this guy. I almost forgot. And this Geodude is at level 11, so we'll get to see if it has the super powerful move that makes Geodude useful. Tackle. Probably not, because if it did, then it probably would have used it on Hoo-Hooey, because it's a rock type move, and as I was just saying a minute ago, rock is super effective against flying. It's also super effective against fire types. And this is the first oh, there it is. Rock Throw. Well, Charcoal is the second Pokemon to go down. And if I remember correctly, this is actually the first battle I've lost in my last adventure as well. However, Rocky pulled through. And you could clearly see right there, boosted experience is 1.5 the multiplier. This is a good use for Hoo-Hooey. Probably the first good use he's had other than Bellsprout Tower. And I found in the last adventure, again comparing, but this one's not a negative thing. I was gonna say fire and flying are actually not a good combo. Okay, I guess it's kind of negative. They're not a good combo to each other because a lot of things that flying types would be useful for, fire types are more common and more effective against it. For instance, bugs and grass types like Bellsprout. And the reason why you wanted to battle this guy is because when you talk to him, he gives you his phone number. Why is that important? Well, because he'll call you if something comes up, and that very rare Pokemon, Dunsparce, I was talking about earlier, he will call and say that Dunsparce is there. So you have this guy guarding this well. I know it's a well, you probably don't know it's a well because it's just a rock formation, so I'll say tunnel. It's unsafe to go in there, so I'm standing guard. Aren't I a good Samaritan? Slowpoke Well. Now you know it's a well. Also known as the Rainmaker Well. Locals believe that a Slowpoke's yawn summons rain. Get rid of the Slowpokes. Records show that a Slowpoke's yawn ended a drought 400 years ago. Yeah, it was definitely the Slowpoke's yawn and not, coincidence or anything like that. Alright, so here we have reached Azalea Town, where people and Pokemon live in happy harmony. Wouldn't that be like the entire, Pokemon universe? I'm gonna go ahead and heal up real quick. Alright, I'm also gonna go ahead in the Pokemart and show that finally, yes, you can buy repels. However, as you can see, I'm a little low on money, and I don't want to spend the money on a repel. You can also buy super potions, which I would say is about the equivalency of a potion right now, where it's a full heal and takes a turn, so you're better off. Actually, no, you're better off with the super potion, because, well, it costs about the same money. It's like about 50 Pokédollars cheaper, and it recovers more, so you don't have to worry about recovering as often. However, I did just buy 10 potions, and that will suffice me for a little while. You can buy escape ropes. I don't need any. Yeah, I can just go ahead and buy 99 repels. This game doesn't limit you in the way the other games do. And I can only buy a grand total of 9 repels. Alright, now that I'm totally broke, I want to go ahead and show off the charcoal kiln, because he sells you a very important item. No? I'm a goof. Okay, so what you want to do is go in the Pokemart, and you can buy a very important item called charcoal. If you give this to a fire type, it boosts the moves by, I believe, 1.5, I think. Very good item for charcoal, but as you can see, even if I was very, very sparing with my money, I would not be able to afford that at all. They make it very clear that you're not supposed to have this item just yet. With 2 minutes, I might as well. Okay, that person's leading you to go talk to the Pokeball maker. Bugsy is our next gym, since nobody actually outright told us who it is. However, if you do go to the front door, this guy's telling you about Slowpoke Tales. He must be working for that guy out there in the last route who's selling them for $1 million. They're extorting you. Go up here, and you have Kurt's house. Kurt's house, the guy we just heard about. And this is not important yet. Go behind Kurt's house, and you get yourself a white apricorn. Or apricorn. That'll be important for just a little bit when you talk to Kurt. Who are you? Revital, eh? You wanted me to make some balls? Sorry, but I'll have to wait. Do you know the Team Rocket? Ah, don't worry, I'll tell you anyhow. Yes, Force Tutorials. It is definitely the 2000s. As an evil game that uses Pokemon for their dirty work. They're supposed to have disbanded 3 years ago. Anyways, they're at the well, cutting off Slowpoke tails for sale. Well, if they're anything like reptiles and they grow back, then I guess we'll never have to worry about seeing a single Slowpoke without tails. So I'm going to give them a lesson in pain. Hang on, Slowpoke. Old Kurt is on his way. They should have did the old where it's O-L and the apostrophe. And he runs off. He waited for us to go, He waited for us to go talk to him. So that way he could go down the well. The little girl's lonely, so we better go tell Kurt it down in the well. And as you can see, he went ahead and took out the Good Samaritan. And here he is. Hey there, Revital. The guards up top took off when I shouted at him. But then I took a tumble down the well. I slammed down hard on my back so I can't move. Rats! If I were fit, my Pokemon would punish them. I can't be helped. He's paralyzed. Better have Paralyze Heal. Revital, show them how gutsy you are in my place. Well, we will show how gutsy we are in the next episode because I'm pushing the time limit and I went a little bit further than I really wanted to anyways. In this episode, we cleared Union Cave, we talked to some guy named Anthony, I think it was, and went ahead and talked to Kurt, who will not make us balls yet. In the next episode, we're going to clear out Team Rocket because somehow that became the cost of a Pokeball. See you guys then. Actually, not in the bag. Might want to save. There we go. See you guys in the next video.